huge 8-point ride, a massive back five. This is what we've come to expect from Italo Ferreira.
So this is a true 540 right here. You're calling it. I mean, this is a full rotation. Talk about commitment and projection down the line, Chris. Just absurd stuff. I mean, we're talking about a video game right here with Italo. Full rotor, and as you said, pointing directly towards the beach with the landing. Just absolutely absurd. And I like that he's riding something with the carbon right there, the IF-15 model with Timmy Peterson, something just a bit springier. I know you're a big fan, so am I, of the Dark Arts, and it's basically the same thing. You're looking at that response right there, and good Lord, did he get projection out of that, Chris?
Yeah, and I love that the judges are really putting a lot of emphasis on clean land.
More fun waves on the way here. Priority is with Tyler Wright. On the left, we're watching Lakey Peterson. Quick tag there, has a lot of speed, big bottom turn, lights up the lip, drawing a carve on her third turn. Another big blast on the backhand of Lakey Peterson, and she will lay it down 2 more times on the end section, feeling the flow. And how about that confident look?
So 10 minutes left here. Caroline Marks is in the lead. 5.6 her high mark, trying to get rid of a 1.5. Molly Picklum looking left. Trying to prove to the world that her backhand is just as good as Brooks and Marks, and that first turn was a hammer. Comes around this section on the inside. Nice little bowl to work with. So a great series of backhand hooks for Molly Picklum. That's more like it.
Well done for Molly.
Team is hyped.
Stand by.
Yeah.
As we look at Ethan Ewing checking out the right here. Nice bottom turn. Throwing that clean carve in the pocket. Looking for a big vertical slide there. Now back into his wrapping turn again. An absolute rail savant as he leans into the finish. Well-placed maneuvers with that cool style and grace. And throwing in so much variety as well. Strider Wazalewski enjoying the show from the channel. What'd that one look like?
And how he does his turns, and he almost ruined it for me because all I was watching was this pendulum work of like his arms and the way he loads up and throws his arms in and everything follows. But then you get back to watching the surfboard.
Oh, here's a good way for Erin.
Fun lap for Erin Brooks. How about that? Rip into the pocket. Nice wrap off the top again, driving into the lip line, and she looks to shut it down with an air-dropping finishing move. You could tell she was just playing with it. Seeing a little overhead left for a goofy foot. I mean, they're going to be happy all day long, and Erin capitalizes on a combinations of big moves.
I don't often see Erin going right. I think she really primarily focuses on the left, and this is just her wave selection right here. This wave is beautiful for her to open up. The timing to stay on the bottom of that wave and really wait for it to steepen up for her. This last maneuver, just so great. Just you see the air under the board there. You get a complete view of the fins as she's coming out of that last maneuver. Sets that rail line. A lot more speed than what we even saw on the right. She was super whippy on that small right-hander, but here on the left, she really gets to open up. The goofy footers are so stoked to be going left today. Chatting to Conor O'Leary, he said he was just happy to just get a wave on his forehand. Here you see the fins completely at the bottom of that board. So, yeah, just really good body control to keep that board out in front of the whitewater.
Here we go. Back to it. Sawyer Lindblad, the saw blade. Great opening turn. Comes around a big section. That bottom turn, top turn combo is so strong. Sawyer Lindblad. And even her kind of setup maneuvers. Nice and flowy. Pops the finish. The little ricochet ender. That is just good, clean, powerful backside surfing from Sawyer Lindblad right there.
Probably second wave of the set. It's going to stretch down the line. She eyes it down the second section, which is money right here. It seems like she's going to go just up and vertical, but you see that she drives through those fins and then inside rail. Judges love to see that. Shows commitment and finish it off strong. Lots of spray out the back and such a tricky section to finish it off.
There's 4 P words I have in my mind. There's patience, waiting for the section to come up. There's precision. Where she placed her turns was perfect. Then there's the potency of the turns, right? Adding a little bit of extra flair. Right here, you see her just kicking that back leg, throwing some more spray.
Cool to see more representation. Dimitri Poulos as a wild card. on boards from Peterson. Joel Vaughan on the DHD program, and he is having fun this year. How about that big blast through the lip line? Really, a lot of control over the foam. And now earning some space. He's got a nice ramp right there. Tail inverted to the sky. And one of the coolest reverses you could see. But it's up to Joel to create some space as we watch his wave again.
That's the main highlight of the wave, delayed takeoff. He knew that he wanted to be just behind the peak. Incredible layback to start things off, up and over the second section. And right here, kind of make sure to eye this last section right and had the perfect timing. Look at the pop that he gets, Joe. I mean, we're talking about incredible timing right there at the end and just the projection, the height that he was able to get. But to me, really a violent first turn right there on the outside. That was just impeccable stuff. And for a lot of people that haven't surfed here, you usually want to surf behind the section on the right-hander. It just always puts you and sets you up in the pocket. Look at the pop that he got right here. The hang time, the altitude, everything was so difficult to do that air right there at the end. And look at the score that he requires, 7.81. It's right there for being the best wave of the heat, Joe. We talked about committed first maneuvers. Definitely on the outside for young Vaughan.
Just love his decisions he made here. A lot of variety. Focused on what was in front of him. Right there with that setup, you knew he was going big here.
Oh, man, and look at how inverted it gets right there. Tail high reverse, no grab. Front foot nearly comes off of the board to you in just an impeccable way to finish off that wave. So
if you close your eyes and imagine what you'd want to do at lowers, that's exactly the type of surfing you'd want to do. But how about Italo on the left there?
I want to do that too.
Throwing back another nice turn in the pocket, oncoming section. He could just throw the whole board out. Showing a little passion and emotion after finishing off that left once again.
To me, just the photo would have been enough.
And then Italo, crazy version of that tail high reverse.
That's just incredible. I mean, how acrobatic he is, the kind of amplitude and height that he gets. And to be honest, he surprised even me with this last one. Flatter section, I didn't think he was going to be able to get that tail high. 818 is what he...
And doesn't need a whole lot. He already has an 857, doesn't need that much. A 763 gets him the win. Let's see him go for it here. The rookie launches right in front of Italo, clears that section, and punches out the end with a solid lower trestles combination. Griffin Colapinto right after this.
Still the best rider we've seen all year long, and I know we have multiple 10-point rides at the moment, but it's talking about how explosive he is and how quick he can get to a certain section up and riding again.
This is what makes him dangerous. You just can't watch him. Under priority, Filipe into a second hook, just speed blasting every section and throwing the reverse at the end. You could tell he's got clear eyes and an open mind right now. There's no distracting thoughts between sections. Every turn is so explosive, and that was under priority, Tanner.
Maybe they were just looking for a complete ride as the statement to turn this heat.
50 seconds, another chance here. Griffin doesn't have priority, forces Filipe to go. Toledo, nice flow into the wrapping turn. He's got a gigantic ramp. Look at that full road.
Come on, this is insane.
Griffin, go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, how sick is the admiration of the two of these guys? Like, they're literally in a bout right now. Filipe back against the wall just throws up a monstrous full rotation for fun. Love it. I feel good about it. Next wave, Griffin's out the back because he pushed Filipe into that front one. Look at this. It's the amplitude over that foam. Just easy as...
Here we go, Griffin's got a chance. 30 seconds to go. All in here. On the wind-up first turn, solid, throwing some water. Off the bottom, punches it out perfectly. Transitions with the blowtail and controls it.
Felipe's clapping.
Toledo celebrating a fine performance. One of the best rivalries we have on tour. Coming down to the wire with 10 seconds to go. Can I have a hug?
This is insane. Mitch, I think he will improve there, but it really comes down to this ride. Like you're talking, 3 major maneuvers done on this ride, back to back to back. What's your guys' thoughts on this?
Oh, man. That last turn's nasty, bro. I mean...
I don't think predictability is a bad thing when you think of Ethan Ewing, because I predict he's going to do perfect turns right now, and he's going to do that. We just all know it. Quick layback jam to start. I mean, this guy is a surgeon, and he has the power to back it up. That is the best technique you can have on
And
a surfboard. I mean, that there's no faults in that wave.
That's the sharpness that I was given the edge to Ethan. Both
He's
of
got a
them are
scalp.
amazing on rail, but he puts an exclamation point by putting that inside rail to the game, sinking it like half the board is in the water. Man, but where is this gonna go? If you start off with this massive layback right here, and look at this third turn right now, he sets himself up to success, working that upper body all the way around. And right here, missed time a bit, got caught up in the 2+1, sorry, the 1+1, and should have probably just finished it off the wave, but this beautiful layback, using that back arm to support himself.
It's perfect. This is perfect surfing.
Sets himself up right here, Chris, for success. The wave opens up, slow itself down. Look at the upper body torque. Look how his front arm is going to bring his nose
man.
of the board all the way back around. And then right here is what the only thing that he maybe could have done wrong was right here.
Rolling in potentially is Jordy getting started. Cole already has a 6.17. Here goes Smith. Clean rails to start. Setting up a nice big open face hook with the release. Nice drive off the bottom, drills the lip line. World number one lays it down with that big front side hook. Greases it again with another great throw of variety down the stretch, putting some water to the sky, and just that paced rhythm from Jordy Smith.
Yeah, I
Nice
think,
polished finishing move, and rides away, Sean.
I think out of everyone on the tour, no one has that sort of effortless drive and acceleration out of the bottom turn. I mean, he's got a surge of speed, power, but Jordy generally, it's just the absolute savage turn. He gets so much acceleration and so much smooth acceleration. The acceleration is sort of so smooth, it's like he's got this sort of burst of speed and power, and also like confident aggression. You know, he's sort of quietly confident, there's nothing hurried. You know, I wrote an article about Jordy when he burst on the scene. I called it Man on Fire. But today he's relaxed, he's in flow, and I think it really shows both in his surfing and his mental approach. You know, he told me today, I'm going to be riding a board my dad's shape. My board's, what did he say? His board's 19 and an 8.
Really confident also Cole going for a big fin throw reverse on the left. Wrapping into the pocket, throwing some water off the tail. Houshmand looking to grease the finish. Great power slide. Surfing with so much bravado and feeding off the hometown crowd, Mitch.
The one thing I really like here is just that he went for it on the first maneuver. I know it didn't stand up as much, but don't necessarily see Cole take to the air that often, so that's what makes it so sporadic. And you can see right here, he fully lays into the last one. A lot of power in that one, and of course the claim hanging up the phone. He looks great so far, Joe, and once again, going for the air first thing off of this wave. To me, this is already going to replace the 6.17. He's looked fantastic so far in the first 12 minutes of this one.
When you got the size and the control of Cole, those are like power airs, and the way he's inverted, it was such a brilliant way to start on this lowers left, on this angle. It has such a nice feeling of cornering up at you, so he could belt it with so much finesse as well. What a great heat, responding to the task of dealing with world number one, Jordy Smith, who's still waiting for his first number to come through.
Member of the finals multiple times, and it seems like Leo looking to strike right here, Joe.
Leo Fioravanti goes big on the first section. Nice vertical there for the Italian. Oh, wow. What a healthy looking carve that was. Out in front again. He's just so clean and precise. Hits it off the lip. Nice transition. Frames it up well with variety with that little lean back slide and crushes a finishing move.
But still, some great surfing, and here what could potentially be the best wave of the heat so far. Excellent combination on the outside. You love the way he held that rail. So did I for the longest of times. You can just see he's always surfing in the pocket. Meat of the wave right there into the lip. This layback is sick. Look at the way he sets up this last one, though, Joe. A little bit more explosive, and as you can tell with that.
Still enjoying this clash with Jack and Leo here in the round is 16. Jack with the lead and priority will take this wave. He's got the drive, got the speed. Looking for a big section. Wow! Tail high reverse, pulls it into a big wrapping hook. Looking so smooth. Throwing some water off the tail of that sharp eye, punching it out, ditches the fins, and he will
to still be able to get down the line with a good amount of speed. You can see right here, cleared a good amount of distance just with the pumps. And then with the air, look at where he lands, still on the open face, quickly into the next maneuver too. So great transitioning maneuver right there for Robinson. It's a 2-for-1. And the layback Larry to finish up. Well, more of a throw tail right there towards the end, but a sick combination of maneuvers. But look at the height, the projection, and the distance he covers. Picture perfect landing, Joe. Straight into the next maneuver. We talk about high impact. It was all Jack Robinson on this one right here. And, you know, once again, the improvements that he has made with his progressive surfing on smaller waves. Well, the score's reflecting it, Joe.
8.87. They dropped the high and the low. A couple of 9s in the mix there. Well deserved for Jack. And also just the smoothness out of the big punt. That was just impressive.
Well, and a really important moment of the heat, too, because Leo got let down with his previous wave, came in as a 5-5, so we're still needing a score. Robinson lost the opening exchange, though. Leo still has the 8.5, and as of right now, Leo going to be forced to get something close to an 8-point ride. And you see the reaction of the pit crew right there, Leandro, Bemi, and his wife, Julia. Super stoked on it. They should be.
This wall starting to move them down to focus in on the right. Jack will take this wave. The man from Western Australia driving off the bottom. Big tail high whip, lays back and pulls it off. Drives into the lip line again. Explosive first turn for Robbo. Now rushing this section. He'll float it, cover some ground, got a lot of speed, and will climb again. Really reminds me of how he went on to win in Mexico.
I knew another guy from WA that used to do this back in the day, too. I'm talking about Taj Burrow, baby. And you look at the impact of this high maneuver right here. Nasty stuff, Joe. So whether or not he improves on the 7.33, that's got to be one of the best maneuvers we've seen all event long. Really, the rest of the wave, looking at the finishing touches, nothing of high impact right here towards the end. So the majority of the number is going to come off of this first turn, but look at how deep he got with the bottom turn right here and straight up and vertical. Very difficult, risky, and of course I'd have to say progressive too. Touches the rail slightly. Actually, he doesn't even do it when he's going up into the air right there. But laying back like that with all that water coming down on you, and especially having to have that core strength to get back up, high risk maneuver. And look at where his front foot is. And you take a risk and maybe let the first wave go and maybe see if there is a second wave. Obviously not if you cross.
Too risky right now.
Here we go. Crosby Colapinto on a dream runner. Big carve to start. The crowd goes wild. Second turn is massive. He's on his way. Fortunate glory. Coming at Crosby Colapinto. A fourth hammer. And another. The hits just keep on coming. Crosby Colapinto surfing out of his mind right now. This wave just keeps presenting itself. And the finish. Hung up the phone. Now let's take a look back at this wave that sent the entirety of San Clemente into an absolute frenzy.
Look at this third turn right here. He's going to unleash it. No, sorry, this next turn right here, the fourth one. He's going to unleash and bring that board all the way back around. So much power. And what I love about Crosby, didn't seem like he made it feel like the nerves were wearing on the sleeve. Like he was just solid surfing, sure-footed. Exclamation point in every turn he did. The only downside for me, his finish was a little bit...
I don't know, guys.
I don't know.
Let's go.
Look at that. From elation to silence.
Like I was just saying, back on all that time, he got a blistering wave all the way
Kanoa still going. I have never heard a crowd get silenced that fast. Back-to-back wins there, Kanoa and Crosby. So Kanoa Igarashi sitting on a 7.
Bit of froth at the beginning of this one right here. Big section ahead, though. That's a massive turn on the outside, a much larger wave than he's had this heat. Beautiful wrap in the pocket right here. Love the patience off the bottom once again. Great variation into the lip. This is where he caught up with him. I mean, we're talking about combination of major maneuvers. At this point, your legs are just feeling it too. He's still going down the line with the same amount of speed he had at the beginning. And tough sections right here at the end. I mean, you're talking about so much on the line right here in this heat, a quarterfinal spot.
We know how good Gabriella is, but again, Sawyer Lindblad is controlling this lineup. Deep bottom turn straight off the top. Powerful. Flying down the line. So much flow, perfect style. I mean, Sawyer Lindblad is peaking at the right time. She's already sitting on a 7.5. And by the looks of those first 2 turns, she might be matching that number, if not more.
Well, yeah, you know
San Clemente, rise up.
all the way through, extracted.
Really surfing, but you're playing it on your phone. It's good times.
Have a look at Sawyer Lindblad. This wave, 4th wave from Sawyer, every time she's got up, she's improved, and those 2 turns out the back are just perfectly precise placed maneuvers on your backhand. I think the way that she's taken off on this wave is really setting up, set herself up for major maneuvers. Just, yeah, Sawyer's surfing a perfect heat.
I mean, that was as clear an 8 as you can get. This opening snap, perfectly placed.
And you can tell, even on the bottom turn, I mean, watch, there's a lot of chatter on that face, and she's cutting through it so precisely, staying low, keeping that center of gravity low, really releasing that tail. I love that maneuver from Sawyer Lindblad. I think she does the best version.
That's right. Her first time advancing into the semifinals at her first CT event right here at home. What was your excitement level this morning, Sawyer, knowing that the tide's coming up and the swell is also pumping today? It's finals day. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. During the free surf, I was watching it for like an hour, and it didn't look like super consistent, so I wasn't sure. But then, like right when they made the call, it started like getting really good, and I was just super excited to get out there.
The local support. Tomorrow's Father's Day. Your dad down here was early.
And speaking of big numbers, Bettylou Sakura Johnson during that interview went off. This wave got completely obliterated.
Oh, and look at the line on this wall. Just Betty has so much to work with down the line. Just takes her time, laying that rail in, time on the bottom again, slashes through this wave. What a beautiful way to start a quarterfinal matchup. Just tears this thing to shreds. I mean, she's had a lot of amateur success out here at Lower Trestles. You can tell the level of comfort that she has. Deep bottom turn, meeting that lip line with such precision. Just staying in that top third so she gets that projection speed out of it to head straight into this next maneuver. Hammers it off the top there. Beautiful round pin under her feet. The board's looking really good. Kind of widens that stance, waits for this wave to stand up for her. Just cuts right through that chop too. I mean, you think about Haleiwa, her home break and lowers, they're pretty similar. I mean, there's chunky sections that you contend with, and Betty just looks so comfortable out here.
Use whatever, knowledge you have.
Yeah, and we'll get back to that point as you see Betty going.
Quick high line, bottom turn, and the strike. Massive first turn on this wave. Carves it back, surfing with vigor. Just vehemently driving down the line and attacking each section. Love to see it. Bettylou Sakura Johnson now backing up that 8.83.
Every maneuver choice here is so intentional as we see her streaking down the line, getting to the bottom of that wave, really delaying that bottom turn, swooping in there. Another bottom turn hook. Important thing was to just kind of stay critical. Definitely that end maneuver was my favorite on that wave.
It's like a whip crack. Caroline Marks now. Okay, answering back. This is the Caroline Marks we know and love. Deep bottom turn, straight up into the pocket. All right, we're starting to see some fire now. There we go, a critical section blasted by Caroline. Another backside vertical whip. She's a machine when it comes to this Lower Trestles right-hander. Strong finish there, Rosie. That's how you fight back.
What an answer back from Caroline. Just loved how critical she stayed through all those sections. Really just a high-performance canvas for Caroline to get busy on. Fades that bottom turn. Wants to stay critical on this wave as you see that kind of shouldery section with that whitewater. Now she's getting excited as that lip starts to present itself. Going through the motions here. This midsection at lowers gets so fun when it steepens up like this. You just get to schwack it in that corner pocket. Again, strikes that lip. So really for me, the midsection of this wave was kind of what really got my excitement levels up. Finishes it strong. Really good answer back from Caroline. Love the way that she's looking over her shoulder, winds through, stays low to that board, even touches the deck. And again, that eye-line is just taking her exactly where she wants to go. She kind of swings those shoulders around. You know, where your eyes set the lip, that's where your body's going to follow. So beyond vert on that encounter of the lip line. Just such a good illustration of how technical Caroline is. I mean, if you're a goofy footer, or if you know, anytime you're going on your backhand, this is the kind of surfing you want to do.
Made possible by our friends at Red Bull, and here we go. This was during that break. Bettylou back at it.
Using her priority, this kind of mid-sized wave just hits the cobbles so perfectly. Like, just head high lowers is the sweet spot of where you want to be in terms of it, just offering up these little gifts where you can set your rail line and do some of your best surfing. It's a good-looking wave from Betty. The question is, does it improve her situation? She's got 2 8s in the tank already. Look at that, just beautiful rail work from her. Upping the ante every time she stands up on her board.
I think Alicia Keys should write a song about Bettylou Sakura Johnson. Call it "This Girl Is on Fire." Oh wait, she already
out of his skin the other day. Well, Jesse, let's get started. Opening ride for Griffin Colapinto. Snap to slide, controls it. Big belt, inverted, tail blow reverse. That was insane. Running after this inside track with a nice pace. Griffin greases it off the roof. Nice pocket surfing there with a nice snap, and Colapinto throws down the rotation, reverses his finish.
In the most high-performance wave, but we'll get back to that after this beautiful A-frame that Griffin took off. Just love the pace right here, how he's being critical but still taking his time, and right there so inverted, and that needs so much of your body and so much of your strength for you to get that going, and right there to regroup and connect the dots nicely through the end and finish it off once again on his foot with a nice blowtail to finish it up. Like the judges are going to eat that up.
Great view here on the IC replay of what it's like to be in the water with Griff at lower trestles.
I mean, look how inverted he's going to get. You're going to see the bottom of his board right here.
As we have a wave now setting up, maybe split peak, watching Colapinto set up a nice fade and cut back. Now starting to step on the gas. Wall's growing ahead of him. Now lays down that rail again. Great connection with his rail work. The lip shows up, snap to slide. Colapinto with the wrapping turn. Fun end section approaching, ton of speed. Big chuck tail reverse. Perfect landing.
Obviously on the last section of the wave, I feel like Griffin is going for his best wave so far of the heat. This wave, he linked up better. He was very calm throughout this stretched out section, and right here unloaded all that speed that he carried throughout. Wave gets vertical, beautiful board slide, so much control. And when you think he was probably going to hold himself and just finish the wave, went for a beautiful air reverse to finish it off that wave. It was almost a perfect surfed wave if you think about it. I'm not saying it's close to a 10, don't get me wrong, but this is excellent surfing. Didn't catch any rails the whole time, very clean, precise, pushing that back foot. Look how much weight he transferred to the front foot halfway through that turn. He gets so compact on top of the front leg, and that's what it's required for that specific maneuver to get the release. And right here, eyes it down the section, rotates, knows exactly that he's going to land. So much confidence.
A good number then. And here goes Rabo now.
Coming around the section. Oh, beautiful. Searing carve to start. Another hard turn right back into the pocket. Quickly laying into the third. He's got a section to work with.
Wow.
Gets the front three. And he's pointing, he's waving, he's doing it all. That's Jack Robinson now trying to knock on the door and open it up and enter the flow state.
You can see it right here, coming from behind the peak too. Wants to make sure he stays in the pocket the entire time, and just like he won bells, I mean, goes to the rail surfing, fully engaged, a couple in a row. And look at the slight readjustment right here. Cuts it just a bit shorter with the layback, and look at where he's perfectly positioned, just behind the white water, straight into the air reverse. Excellent technique. To me, this should be something higher than an 8. Best score of the heat so far, I'd be thinking, but Look at the perfect TP. And the way he dropped in behind the whitewater, you want to be able to do that, especially on the right-hander. But, I mean, we talk about technique and rail surfing on point right here, Chris.
After that first turn, he's just thinking, okay, go back, Jack, do it again. Steely Dan vibes all day long on this wave. I loved that he entered those turns with almost a vertical snap and then just quickly laid down the rail.
And came in from a different angle, too.
So cool.
Major point of difference, and if you look at one of his home breaks over there in WA at main break, there's a couple of similarities. You do want to come from behind the peak, but the variation on rail, we talk about progression surfing when it comes to being on rail. We saw it with 3 maneuvers on the outside, and that air was just spectacular. I mean, to go from the bottom, turn straight into the air reverse with a picture-perfect landing, phenomenal stuff.
So it's the same thing here, you know, it's same thing everywhere we go. You know, it's important to do that.
Thank you for your time.
And just in time, as we see Cole Houshmand now powering his way on this left. And
oh my
hammers
God.
The finish. So some big laybacks. And he's just chopping wood here at Lower Trestles in his backyard. His fans are flexing. So far, this heat has been incredibly exciting. We'll be talking more surfboards, but right now, let's talk power. Let's talk swinging the axe.
Well, this was absurd right here. The first turn's good in the pocket the entire time, holds it. Look at how creative he gets right there, though. Blows the tail, kind of slides with it. And right here, this is an intelligent part of the wave where he just adjusts on the fly, goes straight into the Larry layback with a lot of power. I am very interested to see how high they go with the score right here, just to the short nature of the left in comparison to the right. But you talk about 3 perfectly executed maneuvers on a wave. Just intense, proper. See right there, the blowtail into the grab. Just incredible the way he was able to hold it. And right here, he adjusts so well. What an intelligent surfer how she is. Adjusting on the fly into the layback. Just absurd stuff. 6'3", 225 pounds. And you talked about the micro adjustments with board.
As we break down the IC replay.
I mean, a few things that stands out to me. One of them is wave size, wave selection, and also the criticalness. Look how big that first turn is. Even though it was a lip line down the line, it was massive, and then into another one. And how much drive she had on those bottom turns, going around the flat sections and the whitewash in front of her, and finish it off with a beautiful snap. Came out clean. This is huge score for her. Massive.
Look at this big section, giant windup, and absolutely crushed it, Jesse.
I love the approach, how she went lateral, but still was able to get a lot of spray out the back, made that turn look big, used every inch of that wave. And right here, that's what I mentioned, like, look how in front that wave is of her, and she somehow manages to go around, gets up in vertical again, and then once again, there's so much whitewash in front of her. That board is flying. It's so magic. It's as much as she's like that, she's still a very respectful person, so she gets both sides.
Here comes Bettylou. Nice clean bottom turn, just attack mode on the right. Lays down the rail again. What a combination already. And a little slide, but controls it to right away, and then frames it up super clean off the lip, attacking her targets really well. And now just leaning into a classy finishing move on the inside corner. Well done for Bettylou, finding flow and rhythm, mixing it up with variety.
Pressure is just going to increase on Sawyer as we take off. This opening turn was just incredible. So much control, so much flair. And she's able to lean. This offered so much opportunity. Almost slides it out there, but gets 2 more opportunities as this wave goes down the line. And having that last wave be a 6-7 is obviously just going to go way higher than that. And, you know, Sawyer, this is that pressure of priority of not knowing whether to, do you use your priority on something like this? And it's a small wave that she absolutely surfed up into another echelons of score.
Well said, Rachel. That's that first turn. How cool did that look?
That was so impressive. She went to town on that wave. So on rail, very technical, very powerful as we expect. So smooth on rails. He keeps the speed very well and has so much flair, and that's what you're going to see here in Bettylou's wave. As much as he has so much power, you can also see a little bit of extra spark in her surfing. Beautiful carving. I just want to point it out, this last turn right here. It didn't seem like it was going to be much, and all of a sudden she gets that fin very loose and release to it and put an exclamation point. Like Tanner was right. They're looking for 15, 16 points because she's going to go to something close to that right now in the last 2 waves.
Her timing is so beautiful. When a turn is setting up the following turn, it's really impressive, Rachel.
Yeah, those second and third turns that we just watched, really connection from rail to rail. There was no pauses, and her, like you said, see these last turns, this wave really got small down the line, and her ability to have so much power and flair in such a small section.
Griff.
Oh, looks like maybe. No, it's a one-wave set, and it's kind of bumpy, so there's no real downside for Yago taking this, especially if it's only one wave, and he does that.
Yeah, that's what Yago Dora does. Just when you think this wave is not looking good.
That was some Pedro Barros influence right there.
Oh, you got that Rio Tavares.
Boom.
Oh, my God.
Okay. He's freestyling right now.
So watch the tail on this. Just straight, no pump, straight into a huge upside down, kind of disconnected from his board and reconnected really well. Good clean second turn with a little bit of speed. Kind of setting it up here, kind of aiming for the finish. And gets the tail loose there. A little risk at the end on that last wave because he had to drift the tail over a little collapsing lip. And Yago trying to catch up to Jordy.
This is scary. Needing a 6.87, Yago Dora. A little left runner. There you see the subtle little stall to set things up. Blast the tail out, whips it around. No problem for Yago Dora. Cat-like reflexes, and again.
Man.
Firepower on display from Yago Dora.
He didn't claim that one too early.
Oh, yeah.
But Yago's got this kind of cool skate style. Watch the way this thing sets up for him. Backside, you can't hit that at that same angle and get that loft. And then look, the variety there.
Can't wait. This is going to be amazing. The other half are saying, well, why isn't he going to ride a longer board? How do you deal with this conversation? Well,
I deflect and I start talking about Kanoa's ride
Kanoa
in real time.
You.
Oh, great start there. Got a good rail in there. Boom, that was huge.
Crowd loved it.
This is the best ridden wave of this heat so far. If he finished it off, it's going to be a giant score. His confidence is building right here. And unfortunately, the wave's slowing down a little bit, but I think the damage has been done. We're probably looking at another excellent ride from Kanoa here. And if there's another hometown hero in this event after Griffin, it's going to be Kanoa. And so watch, this is a little bumpy right here, and watch how he drives through it. Boom, all the way around. Big spray. Everyone likes to see a big spray. Look at that thing out the back. I mean, Jack didn't like to see it, but we liked it. And good, clean, solid spray off that third one. Now a little bit of tail throw here. Surfing right in the pocket. That wave's kind of slowing down. He's finding the steep spot. And yeah, I mean, that was just a really great ride. Great surfing.
And it wasn't an easy wave to surf either. I mean, like that last section,
his legs are
real
beat.
flat.
Look at his legs right here. He's tired.
Yeah, first turn's so much more different than the 833, though. The other one was a little bit longer, but as you said, Kelly, there's just a bit more flow right here on the IC replay. 3 in a row, and we're talking about 3 major ones for Kanoa on the outside.
Yeah, that wasn't an easy wave to surf. You can see the face is not perfectly clean. There wasn't a wave before to make it glassy. He had to kind of force his will into this, and boom, look at the tail drift there. Fin count for Strider and Doug Silva. And had to step on the back foot to kind of control that coming out. He drives it all the way around here, extends himself, full extension on the legs.
They got some work to do. Right now he's in combo spot, needing 17.10 total. It's about as deep as a combo you can get. And he's going to use his priority right here.
Oh my.
And that's how you break a combo.
Great start. Great flow there. This wave's a tough one to surf, so we'll see how he puts it together here. A little bit stuck, but that was a great lipper. Really nice flow there. The wave's glassing off. It's getting better as he goes down the line. And you can see he's feeling it. You can see the body language there. And Jack's back in this heat, I think. I don't know if it's...
It'll break the combo.
This is that big one from Jack Robinson. This is an 8.07.
Amount of risk on the first maneuver, obviously right there, and gets... a little caught behind coming out of it. This turn right here would have been radical if he runs out cleanly. Still a difficult maneuver. I mean, Kelly, when you look at the context of the wave, almost set him up even better for the back end of it.
Yeah, that 2 turns ago, So those last 3 turns were set up perfectly by, here's a really good wave right here. This thing's gonna be super clean. Jack's got his chance. This might be the best wave on paper of the heat. Great first start. Steep section, super glassy. He can use all his power here. A little bit of variety there. Wave's slowing down here a little bit. We'll see if it builds back up at the end. I don't think he's got the score yet, but did he make? Well, let's watch this wave first, because this was a great wave. Watch this first turn. Perfectly placed power turn. Good speed here. Comes off the bottom again. Maybe even a better turn here. A little bit of variety. Almost lost it, but kept it really clean. And now just great flow there. Gets the air. Didn't get the tail high. Kind of a flat spin in 180.
Great tempo. Bettylou's ready to rip into this one. This one's got some size, and this is why she's been selective. Ton of speed, and she rips into a big first turn. Nice drive off the lip line. 2 massive maneuvers for Bettylou Sakura Johnson.
Wow, big away from her, big as you can, and I think that's exactly what Betty did on this wave.
Yeah, and it was, I feel like almost that because she didn't take off on that wave like a little bit late, it almost set her up to be just behind and on the pocket of the wave, and where the wave has more energy and more power, and she was able to match it. This first carve here is so tight, so on rail. Just ignoring that kind of lump that there was in the wave, and the second turn just extends, stomps on that back foot, drives through the front foot as she was going to, and airdrops off the sky. Not a big airdrop, but still very critical. And this waves are going to be probably better. Second and third wave of the set coming in a little bit more. Let's see.
Bettylou is able to catch up to this wave. Steady off the bottom. Nice swing in the pocket to start. It's really moving quickly, but she's matching the speed. Driving now into her second opportunity. Big whip there. Great rails from Bettylou. Throws some water off the tail again. And now identifying the end section. Crutches it. Bettylou can do no wrong today.
Bettylou is just attacking waves, and she's really finishing strong on the inside. Her closing moves are just, you know, where all the lights are going out, and it's just she's hitting it so hard. It's like an earthquake, and then bang, everything just falls. All the lights go out, and then they come back on, and everybody's cheering on the beach. It's like, it's really fun to watch, and it's insane. I mean, we're having so much fun out here. Look at that. I mean, you got to love the approach that we're getting from both of these surfers, and this is gonna slugfest. I do feel like Bettylou's going a little more vertical, and I think, you know, Molly's going those big face carves, so it's just, you know, apples and oranges at the moment.
Good call, Strider, as we're watching a radical finish from Bettylou. Just starting with an excellent score and building an even better number on this one, Rosie. Water Patrol assists today. Waves on the way here, and already up is Molly Picklum. Nice patience, big wall, perfect positioning on the carve. Sets up the lip, she'll lean back to change up the angle of that off the top. Big twist and wrap maneuver there in the pocket, and she will lay down the rail again. Nice speed management, beautiful rail work transitions. And now the Australian winding up, cracking it off the top for a solid finishing move, feeling it on that one. Her 4th wave ridden so far. Waiting for last of Bettylou, last of Molly Picklum. Let's hear from Strider.
You see, this is a replay of Molly. I love the way that Molly's approaching this one. I do agree with Strider, though. She's doing those open face carves that are a little bit away from the critical section, but just she's so powerful and switched on at the moment. I mean, 3 just amazing turns in succession. I'd like to see Molly maybe stay a little bit more critical with that whitewater. It'll put her in that position to get a bit more critical, go a bit more vertical. And other than that, the way that she's hammering these waves is amazing. But it's all about answering back to that 9-point ride of Bettylou. Because when you think about it, Betty did less turns, but the one on the inside so impactful and more vertical. And Molly is really just hammering it a number of times, and the number coming just under what Bettylou had. So, you know, you're just looking at it, and like Strider said, it's all just like...
The boys have a big task in front of them, because that was an amazing surfing from both of the surfers. It was beautiful to watch. Oh!
Heat's already on. Yago Dora comes flying into screen as they've already counted in the men's final. And Dora sticking to the plan of the lowers left and starting off with a bang. Now world number 2, knowing he wanted to start big against the regular foot Kanoa Igarashi, who's right behind him on the rankings at world number 3.
Like if you see him just eyeing it down that section, make sure he delays himself to be in the most critical part. Landing backwards in such a bowly pocket, like there's so much air under the board. It's a disaster. It should be a disaster, but he somehow pulled it off and finished it off the wave as smooth as it gets. Beautiful from Yago.
And when you're thinking about what the judges are asking for, I mean, this is a functional degree of difficulty, like off the charts. Like no one is doing this. Like no grab, just lofting it into that windy section. That nose just regathers itself right there. Those feet shift. He shifts it back onto the tail pad and gets ready to wind up this next turn.
That was gigantic. And to do it on the very first section, of course, Yago Dora would go for that to start off with an absolute bang as we enjoy this one on the IC replay. Yago Dora lighting up another punt to start on wave number 3, Jesse.
This is another smaller wave for him, but just making sure he's maximizing.
Affects his decision as it moved forward, and look where he's at now, just finding his feet here on this left again, tags it quickly. Nice control. Off the bottom, off the top, there's another tail high reverse. Next section, he gets off the lip for a frontside punt again, and Yago.
But for Yago, on the other hand, he's going to stick to his foot. And this is what happens. It's just, I mean, expression, like it's an artist. He's just literally doing whatever the heck he wants. And right here, regroups, bring the foot back around. Very awkward section. Somehow gets the tail high and launches more into the flats. He didn't land into the flats, but try to launch it that way so he can come out clean. Look at that foot. It's almost touching the sticker on the nose of his board. And then he regroups the foot right there just to be able to do one pump. As he was pumping, he was also moving the foot backwards once again. Then does an even more inverted air reverse. It felt like he was going to get stuck, but comes out clean. Magic.
So solid, so smooth. He's got so many great people around him.
Right in the mix of those competitors as we watch Yago, Jesse.
Yeah, we heard a lot of noise, probably for Kanoa, but also from Yago, starting off with a massive tail blow and eyeing it down the section to finish it up with an air reverse. Once again, getting up and high.